What is going on, guys? It's Ryan here from RPS Dent Specialist, bringing you another episode of the Dent Digest with my buddy here, Michael from Heavenly Hail Repair. How are you doing, Mike?
Good. How you doing, sir?
Just another day living the life. It seems like you have some smashes you're working on.
Yeah.
Some of those nasty Texas hail cars.
Yeah, I like the crazy looking stuff. It gives me who likes to get who likes to get bored looking at dents, you know what I mean? The crazier the better.
So, you guys, you still there?
Yep.
All right. Bear with me for 1 second here. I've got a little technical difficulty here.
Oh yeah, no
Just
problem.
an average day of doing a live show, guys. It does happen from time to time. I'm no technical guy here, so.
Yeah, me
All
neither.
right, let's see what we got here. Bear with me. Got some feedback. There we go. All right. I am back. You still there?
Yep.
All right. So you guys know that I went to Anson last week and really enjoyed my trip. It was one of my definite better trips to Texas. I'll tell you that the hospitality down there is just unbelievable. I told my wife when I got back here that I totally would move to Texas. You guys, it's just a different breed of people down there. Very
Yeah.
nice. If you come to Maryland, it's not like that. It really isn't. It's crazy busy. Everybody's on the move.
Yeah.
So Anson. So we went to Anson, saw they had a groundbreaking ceremony for the new location, which was super special, super awesome, afternoon there. And then I left there with Vince and went to the IMI training. So it's the IMI hybrid training. And let me tell you, there's a lot of stuff that I didn't know about that training, about how to power down cars the correct way, just little minute things you would never think about while you were, working on a hybrid car. So it took we were there about 8 hours, and Kevin Andrews from TDN was in and out periodically. And it was just really, really good content, DC current, AC current, what the differences are, and the physical ways of really powering down these cars. So the thing that's a little challenging is all the cars are different. So you have, the Hondas mount them in a different place. Toyota hides them in a different place. Most Toyotas we've done, with the orange plug and pull it out. But I'll tell you, if you don't have that certification, guys, you really, really need to get out there and get that certification, because the more he was telling us, the scarier it got, because I sat there and I was like, oh my gosh, I've done this before. I've stuck a tool here or done some of this stuff. So, and then we had the open house there at Anson, which was crazy. It was crazy. It was a lot of people there. You walk in there and it's just like it's like a toy store. It was crazy. A lot of new tools. There was a lot of new stuff dropping. My show last week, we had the new handles from Don Cavanaugh. Open house there at Anson, it was an eye opener to a lot of the tool manufacturers that were there, a lot of the guys that were bringing new stuff to the table. We had like Mike and Vin and Daniel Graham doing their live podcast there, which was super cool to kind of see the way that they set things up and go through their, their daily run through of their podcast, how they run them. Got to spend a lot of time with Mark Blem, which was a lot of fun. We've been talking for months about some different stuff, and it was his first event. So when he showed up, he didn't know anybody. He was trying to figure it out. It was kind of me and Ray Sapnew from Precision Dent Repair that, we're the only couple people that really have talked to him and he was comfortable with. So some good things. They had a really really good taco truck. I don't eat much
Oh
Mexican
my
food,
gosh.
but let me tell you that
What?
it was amazing. Yeah, I
You
don't
don't
eat
eat
much.
Mexican food?
No, no. I'm an Irish
You
guy,
couldn't live
man.
in you couldn't live in Texas then.
It was really good. It was really good. I'll tell you. You know.
Heck yeah.
So
Why don't
um,
you eat Texas food? Well, I mean, why don't you excuse me,
I
why
don't
don't you
know.
eat Mexican food?
I'm not a big spicy food eater,
Right.
but let me tell you, those I keep thinking about those tacos. I called Craig. I was like, I need to get some more of those tacos, man. You know, and you know what? It was really nice. Was Craig and Christina really invited us and really welcomed us to their house after hours, and you know, there was like a get together after the event on Friday night that everybody was at Craig's house with a big bonfire, and it was catered barbecue. The barbecue in Texas, oh my gosh,
Oh,
man!
man.
Let me
Yeah.
tell you, you missed a good one, bud. You
I
missed
know,
a good
man.
one.
I know. I'm not very, I'm not ever very responsible. So it was, I took my own breath away by staying back and working.
That's what I said. That's what I said. I was like, you did the right thing, you know. So I did pick up a new tool at Anson. So it was just
Ooh,
released a couple days before the open house. I picked up the new B&D fender pliers. So they have the irregular edge pliers to where this is a little different. It's a little wider, square, and this has a lot more kick on it. And it's
yeah.
I
Give
always
me a second. I've got mine too, and we can compare them a little bit. Give
That's
me a second.
perfect. So these handles are pretty interesting. When Vince was telling me about them, he was telling me about the new handles. So when I got these handles, when I got picked it up, I was almost like, man, this is like your grandfather's um, shovel handles, you know. But I used them today on a U-Haul, and the power on these things, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, you seem yours has a lot more.
The
You've got a
kick,
lot more length. But yeah, this is so yours bends a whole lot different.
yes. Yeah, it's
Pretty
got a pretty
crazy.
good kick to it. So, and it's a little deeper.
Even the
So,
even here, it's a lot longer. Yeah.
yeah,
Whoa.
the deeper part.
And I bet I've already pinched my hands on these before, so I'm sure. I'm sure those handles help out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean they you know they definitely make a difference. See, I'm losing it again. I'm losing some power here or something.
Oh my gosh! Don't tell me it's just me on the screen
It's
again.
just you again. Look at that.
Oh my gosh! Get me
Look
off
at
the
this.
screen.
Hey, we're breaking you in good here. We are
I
breaking
didn't
you in
straighten
good
my
here.
beard today.
You know, it's interesting. So it is what it is. We're working through this. Um,
Well, cool. Now I need me another set of pliers then.
yeah, it's you know, it's an expense, but let me tell you, it really really made a difference today in you know, working on these edges of those doors. So I know they're a little
Oh,
pricey. They're like 200 and I think they were $240.
oh man, yeah.
So a little more expensive, but I think it took him a little more, you know, machining
Yeah,
to make them larger. So if you
yeah,
guys
oh
don't
yeah.
have them, definitely get them.
A must have.
So, do you have any new tools that you really are enjoying right now?
Actually, I don't own any PDR finesse tools. Well, I didn't own any PDR finesse tools. And they pulled up to the shop about 2 hours ago.
Saw that. I saw that. How awesome was
Unbeknownst
that?
to me, man, crazy because I'm working on this F250 right now, this all aluminum body,
Yeah.
and I got me a little guy that I think it's gonna do the trick. Um, but also off the PDR finesse truck, I've been trying to get my hands on, or rather, in a couple
Oh
of
yeah.
a couple of Zan, Mr. Zan Vidix. Um, these gloves are amazing, man. It just I didn't even have to put them on my hands. I seen them. Let me move this camera so the sun's not in my face. Um, I seen them online, and I knew I had to have them.
Yeah.
The palms of these things. If you ever have felt the deadening in your pinky and your pinky and your ring finger and going down your forearm, I mean, I don't know. I'm a little young in the industry to be feeling those kind of damages. I feel like so. You know, if you're out there and you're feeling a little nerve damage, get you some of these gloves. I got 2 pair of them. As soon as I seen them on the truck, I was like, "Give me 2 pair." And I believe I bought their only medium. So,
Really?
yeah, I bought the last 2 mediums they had. But yeah, Guard Tech workwear. Amazing, amazing stuff. Really cool.
Now, so it's missing the 2 fingers, I see.
Yeah, yeah. So, pretty crazy. I bought a pair of gloves. Just what are they? Mechanics. I bought a pair of mechanics last week, and I cut the index fingers off my gloves so I can do my social media stuff right in the middle of repairs.
Yeah.
Um, but I guess Mr. Zan cut the 3 off for me.
Well, that's perfect.
But I mean, I like to have a little bit more. I mean, you know, you can't grip with a glove over your fingers. So I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
I assume it's to grip a hold of that tool. You know what I mean? That way it's not slipping out of your gloves. But even the palms in these, they're a little grippy. You know what I mean?
Really? It's not like a leather material?
I think it. I mean, it's not leather. It's I don't know. It's almost like a softer type of rubber. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So it grips. It's not like your like I use the mechanics gloves that are I don't know what material, nylon or whatever. They're
Yeah.
real soft, so you can
Yeah.
wipe them across the panel and you don't scratch nothing.
Yeah.
Um, but like I said, they're really soft. Um, you'll deaden your hands real quick. But these, man, they got a little bit of a padding to them. I like it.
So it's
Um,
it's good padding for the palm.
for your palm, I mean, look at
Yeah.
this. You got your palm here, and then you've got like the I don't know. I'm not very
It's
you
like
know
where
medically
you're
medically sound, but you know what I mean. You're
yeah.
whatever this is called. I don't know.
It's part of your palm.
This part of your palm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, it's incredible. I don't know. I can't believe it. I can't believe I didn't have these this morning because I've been working on this Ford roof
Oh, they're
for
terrible.
oh my gosh.
They are terrible.
I mean the shots in the thing. It's not bad. They got. I mean, there's less than 30 on the roof, but they're not smaller than a grapefruit.
Yeah.
Um, so it's had I had these gloves this morning, I could have had that roof done already. But just
The hey, it happens, man. You know, it happens. So
procrastinating, and then I'm like, oh, I don't want to get up on that roof anymore.
so let's get into your story a little bit. How long have you been pushing dents?
Oh man, I would say about okay. I came into the industry about 6 years ago, but of course, it took me a little time to get started in R&I and learning how to take these cars apart. Um, so I mean, actually, behind a tool, probably 5 years. You know,
Yeah.
it probably took me a good year to get comfortable taking cars apart, and so about 5 years I've been pushing, which it just sounds crazy. It sounds crazy to me. I don't know.
What, the
Blows me
time's
away.
flowed like the time's flown like that, or
Yeah, I just when I say 5 years, it just doesn't seem very long. It seems so. I went down to New Orleans in 2013. It was a pretty bad storm in New Orleans.
okay.
Um, and that's when I started. It was April 8th is when I started. I drove from Tyler, Texas, and went all the way to New Orleans. And so I guess we just rounded the 6 year mark.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty crazy. I when I first started this, I didn't know what a 10 millimeter socket was. Had no idea. I
Hey,
had no idea. I
nothing
got
wrong with
laughed
that.
at when we were doing R and I. I got laughed at. It's just I'm not mechanically sound.
Hey,
I don't have any background in body shops. I don't have any. Um, so it's
yeah,
I don't know. It blows me away.
did you work for a company? Did you get trained by them? What's the
Oh
whole?
yeah. Okay. So well. Oh man, it's I'm glad you asked me on the show too, man, because I feel like I can right a whole bunch of wrongs too, and in my own circumstances. But so I was trained by my uncle, my mom's brother, and at the time, when I first got into this, before I got into this, when I was introduced to the idea, I was sleeping on my grandma's couch, pretty much. I mean, I was working 3 jobs. I was a waiter, worked at a slaughterhouse, and
Oh,
then worked a part-time waiter job. So I had 2 full-time jobs and then another part-time waiter job, and was pretty much just stretched so thin. And like I said, I'm living at grandma's house, so her
mhm.
son one time, one day just comes in and wakes me up. It's probably midday, I'm just sleeping on grandma's couch, doing nothing. Sleeping because I'm tired working 3 jobs,
Of course.
and he's like, "Hey, man, what do you think about learning what I do, learning how to fix dents?" And I was like,
You're like, what is
I don't know
dents?
what that means. Yeah, I
I had
don't.
no
But
clue.
all I thought to myself was, my uncle's very successful. He's a very smart man. And I've known him to be in the. I mean, since I was a kid, he's been in the body shop industry. He's been in the automotive industry. So, and I knew he was successful. So I was like, man, yeah, teach me everything. I I would love to. Um, so he
Definitely.
brought me. Kind of took him a little bit of time to bring me on. I believe at the time it hadn't stormed just yet in
Mhm.
New Orleans. So I had a little bit of time to prepare myself for what was about to come. He told me, it involved traveling and going all over Texas and possibly, other parts of the country. And I've never done anything like this before, so I'm tripping out. I'm like, so do I need to quit my jobs? Do I need to, what do I need to do? So it just so happens, instead of quitting my jobs, 2 out of the 3 happened to close down. So 2 of the restaurants closed down, and then the slaughterhouse, of course, I just um, backed out of it, waiting for Paintless Dent Repair to come along, and then I got a phone call. Hey, it's time to get to work. Let's get you down to New Orleans. So I left everything.
It's what you call fate,
Yeah, and I
you
mean,
know?
this was right in the middle of our first child too, our first baby. So
Whew.
yeah, it was really tough, man. It was really tough. Um, Went down to New Orleans and just hopped in it, and I got down there and just blew me away what these guys were doing, man. It blew me away. People were taking crazy looking metal tools and steel and all whatever and just moving
Definitely.
dents.
It is,
They were
it is pretty crazy when you first see it. You're like, "Oh my gosh, how are they even doing this?" It's
they were
it's
putting, they were putting these little plastic tabs and putting glue on them I'm like, what? That little thing can move metal?
that neck looks a little stretched on that one though.
Oh yeah, it's I've been putting this thing to use. Yeah.
You
But yeah, I just blew me away, man. I couldn't believe it. Like I don't know. It's like art. As soon as I seen them in the shop, as soon as I walked in the first day, I just seen a bunch of artists. They were
Yeah.
just everybody, and I noticed right away everybody had different tools.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody has the same tools. Nobody uses the same tools. Um, so it's I don't know. That was the first thing I noticed right away was everybody uses different tools.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty interesting in when you look at a couple different guys' tool carts, and they're all really good techs, and they all use different stuff. I remember when Dave O would come in town, and he would look at my stuff, and he would be like, "Why are you fixing it with that?" I'm like, "Because it works." And he's like, "No, I would use this." So it's so crazy how things, you know, progress in tools and what people are comfortable with, what people aren't comfortable with.
It's pretty much like taste buds. You know what I mean? Like you don't like Mexican food, but
It's exactly the same. But let me tell you, Texas changed me because those
good,
tacos,
good.
I don't know what they were. I was like, yeah, I'll just take some chicken tacos, and they were like, here, and I'm like, okay, cool. I don't know what all this stuff is, but I'm gonna eat it. And I don't know if it was because it was the only food there, or if it was just that good. I think it was that good.
See,
So
that's what I call fate. That's what
you
I call
know,
faith.
it was just it was good, man. It really was. It was just really, really good. I'll tell you
Heck
something
yeah.
else I found out in Texas that I really like. I was given this from the Dyer crew from Anson. This whiskey is like nothing you'll ever have. See, look at him. He drinks it too. This stuff, and I'm not a whiskey guy. But when I
Yeah.
went there, they legitimately had every bottle of that whiskey they could buy in this one room, and it was this ton of bottles, and they were giving them as gifts because obviously I can't buy that stuff in Maryland. So I think I'm gonna
Wow.
break that bottle open this weekend and go at some
Wow.
more.
Nobody.
So
Craig didn't tell me they were giving away bottles of Texas. I would
yeah,
have came down for that.
it was really good. It was really good.
Dang it.
So you were on the Hail Trail, I guess. You were doing some hail, and then where'd you go from there?
So from that, it held while we were working in
Look at this
when we
guy
were,
look at him doing his endorsements while he's on the camera. He goes from Tequila Tabs hat to Kiko hat.
oh my gosh. I'm a fan of the hats. Anybody that's watching, you got a hat, send it to me. I'll wear it.
So I'll give
Um,
you a quick little run through here. Um, I see Michael on Instagram all the time. And some of the stuff he puts on there is just so funny. If you're having a terrible day, get on Heavenly Hail Repair because he's going to brighten your day. Some of the stuff he says, some of the things that he's doing, it's so positive, and that's one reason I wanted to get you on this show is just because you're such a positive person in the industry, and it was just refreshing for me. I was like, I've got to get him on. He doesn't get a lot of love out there, so I just wanted to get him on here and hear his story and see where he is in his dent repair life. So that's
that's
my little
crazy.
my little going into that. But
That's
but keep
cool,
going with
man.
your story. Go with your story.
Oh, man. Thank you so much. That means the world to me. But yeah, it held here in Amarillo. It was a really good storm in 2014. So we packed up, and this is when I was working with my uncle. We packed up and we came to Amarillo. And at the time, this was back in 2014. I'm barely getting my hands on tools now. And I remember watching how his hands would hold the tools, and each tool he would hold, how he would hold it, and how he would move those tools. And I'd ask him questions nonstop. I'm sure he got tired of me,
Mm-hmm.
I'd be in his ear and asking him, so what if this happens? What if it's like this? What if, so I think probably the thing I miss most about being on the Hail Trail is because I'm a people watcher. I'm really big on my surroundings. So the thing I miss most about the Hell Trail is pulling pulling various methods and techniques and favorite tools from technicians that are out there, and you're in the garage with them, so you're watching them and you're like, wow, you see them do something, you're like, oh my God, I didn't even think of that. Because here in Heavenly Hell Repair, I'm limited to my repairs, I'm limited to my own imagination. So, on the hell trail, you get to watch other technicians attacking a dent completely differently than you would, and it broadens your horizon.
Of
um
course.
so that's what I miss the most about the hell trail. But yes, when we came to Amarillo in 2014, my uncle made a really good name for himself. Where both him and I are from the Texas Panhandle, so um just of course, when it stormed here, we did very well that year. And like I said, that was the year when I first started pushing.
Of course.
2014, I fixed a Kia, what was it, a Optima that was very lightly damaged, and that gentleman still comes to me to this day if he gets a dent or door ding, and it just blows me away, man. Blows me away.
That's the best type of customer. When
Yeah,
you're just starting and you're trying to do everything correctly and you're trying to grow your business, and customer comes to you, fix their car, and you build that relationship, and then 8, 10 years later, they're still coming to you. There is nothing like
that's how
that.
you know. Yeah, I mean,
That's
that's how
a
you know you did something right.
that,
You impacted somebody.
that is by far the best feeling, in our business, to have a repeat customer that keeps coming back. Um,
Absolutely.
so I see you have a pretty nice facility there now.
Thank you. Thank you.
So after you were working with him, you just started. He built a name for himself for for the business. Where are you then? Where a couple years
Um,
in, what'd you end up
uh,
doing?
well, this is whenever I'm 28 now. So this was, and I still got a little bit of fire. I still got a little bit of fire left in me. But of course, when we're younger, we're a little bit more stubborn and I don't know, hard headed, whatever you want to call it. But I every day I wake up, I every single day when I wake up, I I thank my uncle for teaching me this, and I'm so saddened. It breaks my heart that the way we split up was not, it wasn't a very good breakup, and that's
Yeah.
what I, I just, I'm sure he'll see this eventually, and I just want him to know that I appreciate everything he ever taught me. You know what I mean? Bringing me, even introducing this idea to me. I know back then I was really stubborn, and not to say that I wasn't a hard worker or I wasn't, I definitely was a hard worker back then, but I know I was a lot more difficult to talk to,
Well,
and
a lot of it's, us
I mean, it's hard to do
just
business with family as it is, you know what I mean? But
yes.
I mean, it's even harder to do business with dent guys.
Yes. And
But
finding and even finding good guys out there that want to do a good job. There's a lot of guys, fly by night guys, that just don't do a good
oh,
job or all about the money. When I look at business, I look at things of I some days I sit back and I don't make any money because I'm too worried about taking care of the customer. My main thing is making sure that customer is taken care of. That's more important to me
absolutely,
than making a dollar some days. So,
absolutely.
mentally you have to put yourself as long term. Long term you have to put your brain, okay, I'm not making that money today, but I'm retaining that customer for the next 6, 10 years. So
And
it is really hard to find good help.
I think the mindset also is, um, goes into, you know, your retail tech versus your chaser tech, you know what I mean? Because, um,
100%.
you know, okay, so for instance, I had a dealership call me, and there's a lot of technicians down here in the Texas Panhandle right now because of the storm that came through a particular town called Hereford, right?
Oh, yeah.
And Hereford got just rocked. There's a lot of good hail in Hereford, but for the most part, it's really bad, you know. And we serviced a dealership out there, and they called us to come out and take a look at their lot and just give them an initial, you know, an initial guess on what their vehicles are going to look like. When I wasn't even in the parking lot yet, and I seen those vehicles, and and it just so happened to be a Ford dealership. So
uh,
um, I told the manager, I said, look, sir, what you're gonna want to do is have a hail cell. Just have a hail cell, because there are technicians, or there, excuse me, there are customers in your community that would love to drive a brand new vehicle but can't afford a brand new vehicle like this, but now they can because it's being deducted 15 or whatever. Um, Versus having these vehicles repaired and then having technicians, and this is, you know what I mean, this is just, you know, whatever. No mean to offend anybody, but you know, this dealership, I'm telling them, look, have your hail sale, because technicians that come in this building, they're gonna look at the damage and be like, oh my, we are gonna have to drill holes to even to save some panels, to make some
oh,
money. And I told them, I said, your rails are gonna get drilled up into. Mark my words, you
yeah.
don't want to give this kind of work to your community. You guys live here. Um, and sure enough, I mean, you know, how often do dealerships listen to you? You know what I mean?
Never.
Um, so
Never.
sure enough, they called us out, and we went and looked at one that was repaired. And I was like, no, I told you so. So that's the versus, you know, the versus your hail trail, your hail chasing versus your local guys, your retail shops. You
Now
have to care. You have to care more so you can build that relationship with the customers to keep them coming back.
now, do you have a relationship with that dealer, or was it something you just kinda stopped in to really
No,
see
yeah,
what they had?
we got a relationship with them. We fix quite a bit of their vehicles, but oh my gosh, that stuff is nasty. That's
I'll
nasty
tell
looking
you,
Ford dealership.
I saw a Dodge Stratus at Craig Dreyer's house from the Anson, and it was by far the worst hail car I've ever seen in my whole life. It was absolutely terrible. It had to be a total. It was I don't know if I can get this on camera, but it was
Oh
destroyed.
my god. The hood
Yes.
is just caved in.
Oh, that's the whole car was like that. So, it had to be multiple storms is my guess, but
Was it
it
sitting out
was,
there as a joke or what?
no, it was like somebody was driving it. I think it was a total and they bought it back, and you could see where the windows were busted out and they put glass in it. So it was interesting. You know, when I first landed, I've got a really great picture. I'll actually post it. I haven't posted it yet. I'll post it on my Instagram tomorrow. When we were flying, it took me forever to get to Texas because of the weather was so bad. They delayed
Right.
our flight. Then we were in the air an extra hour and some time. So you could actually see a terrible storm brew up right next to us. You know, they always say how that hail kind of goes up in the atmosphere and then beats around, and you could almost see that. It was actually really, really cool to get a picture of it. Um, and when
I
we
can't believe the
landed,
plane landed in that.
they were telling everybody on the plane to get the insurance on the rental cars because of the hail damage. So they had a whole section of like people that were asking questions why, and they were trying to explain, they were trying to say, hey, windows are getting busted out, cars are getting damaged. You're going to be liable. If you're smart, buy the extra insurance. So they're telling these people on the plane. It was for me, it was comical. And I'm like, whatever. There's some really
Oh
bad
my
dudes down here in Texas that can fix this stuff. So as long as it
heck
doesn't
yeah.
fail like this in Baltimore.
Oh my gosh.
So you know, broke off from your uncle. You're still growing your business. Where are you in that timeline? Were you still
Oh
doing
my god.
hail?
So yeah, I mean, when I broke off, when I left, I couldn't believe it. I so at the time I've had 3 years of fixing hail, and that's all we did was fix hail. There was no door dings, there was no nothing. So um, when when me and my wife, I mean, and that was really the push was my wife. Just as well as it wasn't necessarily me and my uncle bumping heads. It was more like me bumping heads with my uncle.
Of course, of
Um,
course. We've all been there.
yeah, man, and good gosh. But anyways, my wife was really the she was my safety net. She was like, you know what? I think you are amazing at what you do. I come to the shop all the time and I see the repairs that other people do. And this is when we're still on the hill trail. And then I see the work that you do and how fast you can do it. And I think you can just open up your own place. We can just do our own thing. So we launched Heavenly Hill Repair and maxed out all of our cards, all of our credit cards.
A true
When I say
entrepreneur.
I maxed out, I mean I maxed out. I ordered anything that I can think of that would help me save some time. I knew that going into a retail shop, um, that I would need a heat lamp versus a heat gun.
Hmm.
So I bought me one of the big heat lamps, and that has done just wonders for us on huge repairs and even little repairs. You know what I mean? I mean, who doesn't like to warm up a panel before they start pushing on it?
So I've actually been using something like that. I don't mean to interrupt, but it's a
Oh no, go ahead.
ultra UV light. So you literally flick the switch and it's hot and it heats the panel. It's about this big, and you can put it on a stand or you can just wave it over the panel, and it is straight instant hot. It is, but it's
Whoa!
it's expensive. It's almost $700.
Oh
Um,
my
but
gosh!
it is awesome. It is awesome. So
Oh my gosh! Yeah,
I'll
mine
get you
was
guys
only.
the information on that too.
Yeah, yeah, heck yeah! I think I think that
Max
little
out some
heat
more of
lamp
those
was
cards, Michael. Gotta max out some
maybe
more of those
300.
cards.
um,
So
but yeah, no,
anyway,
going into a retail shop, I only knew Hill. You know what I mean? I only know circle
yeah.
perfect circle dents. So we asked the body shop to if we could host one of their bays in the middle of hell season, and in return we would provide them with business, and we're doing, you know what I mean. And we I don't know. I don't think me nor my wife was expecting the turnout. We got so swamped so quick. Body
Now,
shop starts doing.
did you have
I
that
mean,
location that you're in now?
no, sir, no. We were in a um, off of the same highway, but we were kind of tucked behind a neighborhood. So we didn't have a face off that highway. Um, but back then I didn't do as much as now, but I, do quite a bit on social media and whatever. Um, but it
You
just
on social media? No. No.
it it just went crazy, man. I don't know. Um, we got to the point where the hail stopped coming, of course. So now we're like, whoa, there's no hail. And I'm used to just going wherever the hail is. And mind you, we didn't have any sales guys, and we still don't. I didn't have any employees at the time, and I don't now anymore. Um, but yeah, I was doing everything at the time, from tearing down, like, of course I am now, but everything. And we got really swamped, and we just took another leap of faith, and we're like, man, let's get into a building. Let's get our own little shop. And I think if we had our own shop, we can do even better. So we looked around, and we weren't ready for that. We're looking at buildings, and they're asking ungodly amounts. And I'm like, we're not making that much. Like, there's
Yeah,
no way we can do this. We just
it's
started.
it's pretty crazy, because you want these big dreams, you want this front, you want to do it right, but I mean, some of the rent. We looked at a property not long ago. It was $19,000 a month. That's
Oh my
crazy.
God. Oh
Yeah,
my
I mean,
God.
the average commercial realty. So, like where my location is, the average for commercial realty is in between 10 and 20,000 a month. The average street front location. So, you guys have it much cheaper there.
Yeah. Um, Gosh, man. Yeah, I was blown away. I was like, oh my God, maybe we need to stay here and just keep just grind it out. So we stayed in the body shop, grinded it out. And I started taking on, your of course, door dings and hail is not that big of a difference. But when you're talking about door dings, and people are like, oh, it's just your customer's like, hey,
Yeah.
I just got a little door ding, and it's just
Yes.
main.
Just this little
Oh
dent.
my
Can
God.
I get a price on just this little dent? And
It's
it's
just
a
a little.
smash fender. And I always explain, I think your little and my little are different littles. So my little is the size of a pea. Your little is the size of need a
A
fender.
basketball? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So
So
that
we,
was the
we
hardest part. That was the hardest part. I seen, what is this? James Brown asked, what's the
yeah,
hardest part, transitioning from hell to Dordings, and that's the
smashes.
hardest part. Is hell is perfect, and for the most part, right? It's perfect. It's circular. It's even. When you start getting into Dordings, for the most part, your what looks like just a little circle dent also has a crease in the middle of it from the door that hit it.
Hmm.
Um, so
Yeah.
that's the hardest part, was knowing that hail is completely different from anything else. If you get trained to do hail, then you are trained to do hail. But if you've never taken on, a ding or a big dent or anything like that, it's completely different. There's
It's
way, there's
I've
way
met a
more
lot of hail
confidence.
guys that really couldn't even do smashes. There's
Yeah,
some hail guys that have hard times on the side panels. But some of those guys, let me tell you, hail guys are a different breed. Some of those guys, when they team up with the right crew, I've never seen anything like it. It is amazing.
yeah, yeah. I've seen. Uh I don't know. Uh, Back in New Orleans, I seen what was three guys, and they did I think it was an X5. Just they look like little ants all
Yes.
over the car, and
Yes.
that car was not repairable.
No.
Like, looking at it now, even, and I'm not very seasoned, but looking at it now, that car, and they just no
Yeah.
problem for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
So hail and your big crushes are completely different.
And straight lines
Everybody.
is Straight Lines is asking, how did you get started with the dealerships and body shops? I think a lot of it
Ooh,
is, you have word of mouth, which is a big thing that really helps with that type of business, and just cold calling. Getting yourself out there, knocking on the doors, doing some free repairs. I talked to Lee from the Dent Ding King, and
Yeah.
he's an awesome guy. He's taught by Mike Toledo. He's a pretty talented tech, and he's an older fella. And he was asking about some body shop stuff, and really, it's just getting out there and, hey, I can fix this, or showing them some of your work, and trying to build those relationships is your best way to get into the dealers. What helped me out with the body shop stuff is word of mouth. A lot of these body shop owners and estimators, they're friends. They go to lunch together and they're like, hey, I got this guy that's who are you using for dent repair? He's really good. Ryan's figured it out. And then they're like, well, send him over. And then you go over and you do some free dent repairs, and you can really build those relationships. That's the best way that I figured it out. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, that's same. Well, same and not same. I I don't know. Going into transitioning, into a retail shop, I didn't know how to bring in accounts. I knew how to bring in customers, just hit social media, right? But how do you get your big accounts? How do you get your dealerships, your body shops? How do you get the accounts that are going to be sending you business every month on the month? Um, I did not know how to do that. And I still don't know. I didn't go out of the body shops that we do business with, out of all of our accounts, none of them did I approach. I
You
never
need to come up to Baltimore. I'll show you the ropes, man. I'll
man,
show
I
you the
and
ropes.
I just
You know,
we when I say we got lucky, man, we got really lucky. For instance, one big account that we use, I just so happened to be buying a vehicle at the time, and it's just a used cash car, right? I'm gonna pay cash for this car, and some guy's selling it. So I go and meet up with this guy. Of course, buying a car, it's no biggie. Somebody seen my shirt and they were like, "Whoa, you're the guy who fixes dents. Will you look at this truck for me? Can you fix these big dents?" And there was three monster dents on a Dodge body. I mean, Dodge bedside. And I was like, "Yeah, it's no problem." It was black. They were nasty. When I said, "Yeah, no problem," I'm thinking, "Oh my god, I don't know. I don't know." Uh, so I was like, "Yeah, no problem. When do y'all need it? But can I have it back to you guys tomorrow morning?" I
oh
said,
my gosh.
"Tomorrow morning?" And so I was like, "Oh my god." I called my wife immediately. "Hey, I'm just put my foot in my mouth. I've got to get this car done." I picked it up, drove it straight back to the shop, repaired it, took it back the next morning bright and early, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, can you s- can you bring us all your information? We want to put you on as a vendor." I was like, "Oh my
It's a,
gosh, yes,
it's the best
absolutely."
feeling in the world. It's
Um,
the best feeling in the world.
and that was maybe 6 months after starting Heavenly Hair Repair, and
Nice.
I, just- I every time I see that, I've seen it twice now. The On Facebook, your memories.
Oh yeah.
I see that memory, and it warms my heart, man. It's just putting out quality work also helps. You know what I mean? Just
And I think a lot of it's personality too. Getting out there and just connecting with people. There's a lot of people in this industry, not in this industry, in all industries, that they just don't connect. You know what I mean? You just don't. You need to get out there and just be yourself. Just kind of put it out there. What do you have to lose?
yeah, yeah, oh yeah. I
It's
mean,
like James Brown said, would you have liked to learn it says, would you choose to learn hail or door dings first?
oh, I see that, Mr. James Brown. Um, oh, I don't know, man. I'd go with I'd go with Dordings.
Yes.
I'd go
Yes.
with Dordings. Let's say, for instance, oh my gosh, I got a story for you. So, for instance, we have what should have been this coming Monday. We got a drop off on a Charger deck lid. You know how the light expands the whole face of the deck lid?
Yes.
Well, so does the dent, and it's just a nasty crease the whole length of the deck lid,
Ugh.
right, right under the light, right? So this lady comes to us and she's like, I want to get my vehicle repaired paintless. I do not want my deck lid replaced. I do not want them putting Bondo on it. And my insurance sent me to the body shop, to a particular body shop. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay. So we write up an estimate, we do everything. This is about what a good, I mean, if I was to say 3 feet, I think I would be generous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a nasty, nasty crease. I write up our estimate, whatever. We send it over. Today we talk with insurance. My wife's talking with insurance, and they say, and I quote, if she goes the paintless route, she's gonna have to pay out of pocket.
Because he doesn't know
How
the
does that,
pricing.
but how does that work if I pay insurance to get my vehicle repaired?
It's probably
For then,
deductible wise. So he's thinking the deductible, maybe she has a $500 deductible.
no, he was not. No, we've been back and forth for about a week, and he no, absolutely not. We're only at, I think he said like 450 on this dent. We're only at 450. We're paying the conventional. Um, well, no, we're not doing conventional. We're doing paintless. We're not replacing this deck lid. We are repairing it. It's going to cost more than 450. He's like, no, that's what we're paying. That's what we're paying. I said, no, no, that's not what you're paying. You obviously don't know how this process works. So we got in contact with the supervisor, everything. We're like, look, if you guys haven't seen this dent, let me put it into perspective. The tail light that expands that deck lid, the dent is that size, and it's also about 6 inches wide. So, um, unless you guys are going to replace the deck lid for what I believe is like 10, 15. I mean, it's over $1,000 for that, or maybe 815. I can't remember what Mobile Tech RX says. Shout out Mobile Tech RX. Um, I don't know what it says on that deck lid, but it was way more than what they estimated to conventional that. And I said, ma'am, this lady does. My wife was like, ma'am, this lady does not want her deck lid replaced. She doesn't want it bondoed. She wants it PDR'd. But if you guys want to conventional it, we can replace the deck lid and have it and the quarters blended into. And I think that's, I mean, I don't remember what our estimate was, but it was way more than what, I mean, it was triple what they had. So of course,
Yeah.
they were like, whoa, okay, no, let's go the PDR route. Um,
It's always a battle sometimes. It depends on the adjusters. You know, some of
yeah, it's always,
they don't understand. Some of them really have no clue of what can be paintless, what can't. You know, it's all an education to your adjusters. I spend a lot of time educating my local adjusters just so they
absolutely.
know. I just had a meeting with a couple different adjusters and just showing them some of the repairs that we've done and some of the stuff we've fixed. It's beneficial. I was at the Hail Expo and a couple of the guys there were like, "Man, forget those adjusters and they're a pain in the butt." I'm like, "No, you're missing the point.
Yeah.
Build that relationship. Build that relationship."
Yeah.
Looks like
Because you got to think
Matt's
about
on here
it.
from Get a Grip. So if you
Oh
guys,
yeah.
yeah, he that Get a Grip strong arm is an awesome product. It is an
Oh
awesome
my God.
product.
I need one of those. I definitely need one. I went on to gosh, what was it? I don't remember where I was at. I was online earlier this week and I was like, I seen it and I was like, oh my gosh, I need that for aluminum roofs.
Yes.
Hold hold my heat gun where I need it. And
Yes, totally.
God, Man,
Matt's saying here, he goes with the dealership thing, timing is a factor. Don't give up. No that day doesn't mean you can't stop the next day or two. Every visit could be a little different with different results. One thing
oh
that I've
yeah.
learned with that is every time you go in there. So I used to back in the day, I used to cold call and find out who the manager was. And then I would go in there and I would look at his desk and you would see, okay, there's a hunting picture on the wall, or if there's a golf ball on
Oh
there,
my gosh,
then
you're
you
one of
kind of
those
know.
guys.
You kind of read the situation, so you can relate to them.
Yeah.
So you're very true, Matt. There was an account that I stopped in 7, 8, 9 months, like every week, and just knocked on his door. And he finally got to a point. It was like a Friday at 4:30 4:30 in the evening. I'm on the other side of town. And he calls me. He goes, "Hey Ryan, it's whatever at whatever dealer. I got one for you." And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, man, I don't have time. It's 4:30 on a Friday. Okay. So I drove over there and I walk in the account and everybody in the whole place is laughing and they're going, "It's out front. It's that white truck." And it was a Nissan Frontier. Open the rear door that opens out like this is just crushed. So I was out there with my limited light and my
No
flashlight and my
way.
headlights working outside on this busted door. Ended up having the door off on my tailgate, fixing it. Dealership's closed. There's barely anybody around. Put it all back together. Knight dropped the keys, and I called him the next day, and he's like, "Man, that thing looks amazing. Send me a bill." And I was like, "Nah, I'm not happy with it." He goes, "Come see me Monday," and I've been in there ever since. So
Woo! That's
sometimes,
how you do it.
sometimes you have to suck it up, and it's in your head. You're always like, "Man, this is a pain in the butt," but you never know the outcome. You know,
Oh, definitely.
a straight line says almost every dealer has a paintless dent guy. It's difficult to get them to change. It is.
Absolutely.
That exact account had a paintless dent guy in there for 15 years.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's why you got to go in and, you get, I don't know, somewhere along the lines, we got as dent guys, we got the label is prima donnas that we won't touch nothing unless we get paid,
Yes.
and that's a big. Of course, you got to be compensated for what you're doing, but you also have to think about it. Are you just getting started not just getting started in dents, but getting started in your retail shop? Hey, you're gonna have to take some losses, man.
Oh yeah. And you know what?
You're
My new guys, I always try to sit back and say it's an investment. So it's just like you going to college and learning
yeah,
school and then getting out and getting a job. It's the same thing. Sometimes I'll do a repair and my new guy Shane, he's like, "Why? I don't get it." And I was like, "Trust me. Just trust me." And it always
yeah,
pays off. And he looks at me a couple days later and he's like, "You were right. You were right."
yeah.
So, you need to invest your time in the right places sometimes.
And sometimes, I mean, I don't. Sometimes you just get lucky. You know what I mean? I don't
Yes.
know. Sometimes like we have an amazing location here in Amarillo, and about a block away is one of the most established and most respected body shops in the region, and we handle their stuff. Um, but the first day that we started taking on them as an account, the owner came in. He's an older gentleman, Mr. Forrest. He comes in and he's in an F-250. But he doesn't come in like the owner of a body shop, of course, right? He comes in as a customer.
Mhm.
Um, so he comes in and he's like, "Hey, how you guys doing? I drive by you every morning. I've got a couple of dents on my truck. I'd like for you to take a look at." I was like, "Okay, let's go take a look." Go look at his truck. And I already know these older Ford F-250s on the door. The door is extremely sealed up. You got a couple of
Yes.
access points, but for the most part, if you've ever repaired one, you remember if there's a dent there, there's no access.
Yeah.
Um, So I'm like, sir, this is a difficult dent. I'm going to have about 80–90% of this is going to be glue, and I can maybe pull his door panel off and get something up behind this panel. He was like, oh yeah, no problem. And then he shows me another one, and I'm like, oh sir, so this panel here is strictly glue pull, and I'm going through the process and what glue pulling is and these
Yes.
what these little plastic specialized pieces are. And I'm like, whoa, we use specialized glue, and we use these different
That
we use these
that
different lifters too,
that look at that. Hold on. We need to stop this conversation. Hold on. You see this lifter that he has in the air over there? That is the anniversary edition, and it is awesome.
So I took the anniversary feet off of the anniversary lifter because, and Keko, don't get sad at me for saying anything, but the blue plastic rubbing against each other like on the feet, it doesn't move well. I would have literally had to have put this in my office and just have it sit there, but it's so cool. I can't not use it. So I changed the feet, and the black plastic against the blue moves just fine, and vice versa on this one. The
And
legs
one
move
thing
just fine.
I actually had a conversation with Chris White from Kiko, and he said that the blue ice uh, lifters, it's super difficult to process, just the way that
Yeah,
it's injected molded. So he really did that as the giveaway for their anniversary stuff. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, I was invited and I didn't go, and I really should have went, but it is what it is. I've just been watching Michael over there from Heavenly Hail, put it all over the internet and rub it in my face, but it's okay.
gosh, I
It's okay.
love
And
it, man.
this is not a paid sponsorship by Kiko. It's just it's a great product. So
I just love Keko, man. I love Kiko. They're amazing. Um, but anyways, I'm telling this potential customer, I'm like, hey, we're gonna have to put this specialized glue on these tabs and this, that, and the other, and lift it up very slowly and methodically and massage these. We're gonna have to knock it down with uh, with these specialized tips here from Woody Koss.
look at this guy. He is just dropping it today. Look at
We're
that.
gonna have to, man,
They're
these
the
new ballistic
ballistics.
tips.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. He's got to have these made out of like unicorn horns or something. Like nobody else can get
Yes.
their hands on this product. Like, whoa, my gosh. What in the world? Woody, what are you making these out of? Unicorn horns? Like,
Oh,
oh
that's
my
great.
goodness. Unbelievable stuff. But yeah, I'm explaining to this customer, I'm like, we're gonna have to do this, that, and he stops me and he says, I know exactly how you're gonna fix them. I'm the owner of this body shop. And I was like, I don't know the body shop because we just started, right? So I'm like, oh, well, okay. Well, sir, I'll let me get this all repaired for you and whatever. And he leaves his truck. He says, I'm just gonna walk. I'm just gonna walk to the shop. I was like, no, sir, I can give you a ride. Where are you walking to? I'm just right up the block right here. It's no problem. I'll walk. Um, just when you get done with the truck, drop it over at Southwest. You can't miss us. It's right off the access road. So I get on my phone real quick and I look up Southwest and I was like, oh my gosh. And I called my wife real quick. And this is literally right when we opened Heavenly Helper. I mean, 8 months in, and I'm like, babe, one of the most respected, the oldest body shops in Amarillo just called us to handle their stuff. And I just fixed his truck and dropped it off. And they want us to fix one of their hail jobs. They want us to write an estimate for them. And it just took off. It just blew up from there, man.
That's awesome.
Unbelievable. So yeah, sometimes it's just you got to educate
Timing.
your customers. Yeah,
You know, you know
timing.
what? Education is key. I always preach that. You'll see me put it all over social media, and the
Oh dang
more
it!
that
Let me get my phone charger real quick. My phone's going on low. Hold on, give me a second.
so education is definitely key, and in that is educating your average customer. So they come up, they've got a dent through their body line. They're not even sure what a body line is. So you're trying to explain what the body line is, what laminated glass is. Okay, what is a glue pull? And an average customer has no clue what a glue pull is. So you have to go through that process. And the more you educate them, I'd rather have something fixed by a teacher than a guy that is still trying to figure it out. It would it's just a better situation when you're going through the process of explaining a repair, explaining how it's repaired, how long it's going to take. Also, the savings. I said earlier in the day about the adjusters. I spend a lot of time with adjusters, and what that does is they go to customers' houses and they are, looking at cars, writing estimates, and sometimes their repairs fall underneath of the repairs, underneath their deductibles. So what you do is you get your cards in their hands, and when they're there, they're saying, "Hey, you know, um, I can have this repaired for under your deductible to save you a little bit of money, and you don't have to make always see an adjuster in a body shop. Hey, what's going on? I'm Ryan from RPS. See these guys, show them some photos. It's your little portfolio. That's what I have a little file in here that says bad dents because that's what we fix here at RPS. We don't get door dings. We get the bad stuff. So,
Yeah.
um, one another reason I wanted to bring Mike on here, like I said, he is just super positive. It's nice to see a small guy out there. Seems like he does a really good repair, and just gets out there and really tries. It's tough out here. It's tough trying to start a retail location and keep it going. So I really
Yeah.
appreciate you on, bud.
Thank you, man. Thank you. It's an honor, man.
He's got the killer t-shirts, guys. He's got the tie-dye shirts all the time, keeping it fresh.
keeping it cool. Yeah, yeah. Always. I got to. We came up with. It was just a cool thing to make shirts with the family. We had the kids tie dyeing shirts with us, but also they get us noticed. They're super bright and they stand out, and they're pretty cheap and whatever. You know what I mean?
Of course, of course. Well, if you have anything else you want to say there, Mike, get it out there.
Oh
Since
man.
your paid sponsorships today, gonna have to get your royalties. No sponsorships here.
Oh
I
my
told him to bring
God.
on some of his stuff that he really enjoyed and and new tools that he was bringing out. So
Yeah, if you can't see this guy has really helped me out, man. I I don't know. Since I came across the Stanliners, one in particular, that Ray Snake is just amazing. The leverage that this bin puts into metal is just
I haven't
it's
tried them
amazing.
yet. I haven't tried the raised snake. They have that Stanliner event going on right now at Don
Oh
Cavanaugh's
man,
location. So
I wish I could be there. My gosh,
you know,
uh,
um,
I knew going into it. I was like, man, that's gonna be that's. I know we're gonna have a hailstorm before that happens.
well,
So there's no
and
way.
so did they. I spoke to Thomas last week, and he says, "Yeah, the the hail guys are doing their hail thing, and it keeps hailing in Texas." And I'm like, Thomas. He goes, "Yeah." I said, "It's hail season, dude.
Yeah, I
It's
mean, what do you
hail
do?
season."
If I mean Stanliner's what Lithuania, so what do you do?
Yes,
You know what I mean? Do you come to do you come to the United States in the middle of hell season when everybody's busy, or do you come in the winter when everyone's broke?
exactly, exactly. And it was kind of
You got to pick your poison. It's right in the middle. mean,
it was kind of an off hail season last year, so money, you could tell at MTE, that it was slower. So I don't know. It's an
man, I
interesting
gotta make it
year.
out. I gotta make it out to MTE this year.
Oh, you don't have an excuse this time. You're
No,
coming.
I'm
You
coming
gotta
this
come.
time. I'm
It's
coming.
not real expensive to go, and the networking end of it is awesome. Just getting to know people and spending time with them. And I'll tell you, I actually enjoyed Anson this year better than MTE. Just as in
Wow.
MTE is so much going on all the
Right.
time. Um, Anson was slower pace. You could actually talk to some of the tool manufacturers and have a real conversation. So it's a different spout, but it was nice.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I thought of I'm crazy. Everybody knows I'm crazy. So I thought of an idea to do this coming MTE. What I'd like to do is load up what I believe would be my dinger tools, right? Your small door dings, your glue, your small pulls, any of your small repairs, and just hit the road on the way to MTE and just I'd like to drive, of course, drive all the way to Florida and on the way there, stop in gas stations, whatever. Hey, ma'am, sir, I would love to fix your dent right here. Um, we're
Trying to make
accepting
that
donations.
trying to make that MTE move money on your way there, huh?
No, I what I'd like to do is film everything and just accept donations and just do repairs all the way there. You would make more off of the videography than
Oh yeah,
anything, you know what I mean? And
definitely.
I think it'd be cool just being on the roadside. One thing that I gotta that what was it? I guess it's also considered into what is this? James Brown. James Brown kind of considered into his question here. Probably the hardest thing about going into mobile repairs or your retail versus hail route versus hail is it's very difficult for me to use an Illimitant. I have one. I love it. It gets me angles that I can't get with my big lights.
Of course.
But it's so hard to transition from that big chubby
Oh yeah.
to the little Illimitant. And I only have a 14. I only have a 14-inch because I
I'm
figure
an eliminant guy. Everything. It's
anything you repair everything with a Illimitant.
I can do whatever it is. Yeah. I mean, my hail light comes out if it's only a hail car, but I
Right.
fix almost every single thing with a 14-inch illuminant light, man. We
Oh
rock.
my gosh, dude. It's so hard for me to read, and maybe I like the. It might be because I have a green lens over it, right? And
Yeah.
I might be used to my chubby and seeing the white and the red or the white and the yellow
Yeah.
LEDs. So that might have something to do with my eyes, but it makes it very difficult. And I see people all the time posting pictures of their repairs with their limited setup, and
Oh yeah.
um, man, I
All the time,
props to
baby. All the
props to
time.
you guys that use those illimitants. I
We're
seen
outside with a torch trying to heat the
oh
panel. It's
dude,
snowing.
have you seen some of the guys? Have you seen some of these guys overseas that post, especially in the winter? They're out at their dealerships in the winter in the middle of snow, getting snowed on,
Oh yeah.
and they got their heat gun set up, blowing on this. The only part of the car that doesn't have snow on it is the
Yeah.
part that's hitting the heat lamp. Dude,
Come to the Northeast,
that is
baby. Come to the
that's dedication. Yeah,
Northeast.
you guys get cold up there, man.
Well, make sure you plug yourself. We got to get rolling. We're about 16 minutes over, but it was some good conversation. So, you know,
Heck yeah.
put your information out there. We find you on YouTube
Hmm.
or
So
Facebook.
you can find us. You can find us on Instagram. I do a lot more stupid stuff on our story. You can find some really, really, really stupid stuff of mine on Instagram. Facebook, I kind of got to keep it a little bit more toned down, but same stupid stuff going on there. And then of course my personal page, Michael J. Hidrogo. You can find us on there. And man, I anybody that has any questions or anything, I probably don't have the answer, but I'll just ask around until I get it. I'm new to all this. I don't know. I have no idea.
Jesse's asking, what city are you in?
I am in Jesse Tostado. Tostado, huh? Okay. Mr. Jesse Tostado. I'm in Amarillo, Texas.
It was funny because I was talking to Shane the other day, and he's like, "Where's he from?" I'm like, "He's from Armadillo." He's from Armadillo.
Armadillo. Oh my gosh. I don't know why people call this East Texas. This is West Texas. This is not West Texas. Amarillo is not West Texas. If you know your north, south, east, west, or vice versa, I guess. Whatever. El Paso is West Texas. Amarillo is North Texas. Not Dallas. Dallas are not any of that. That's mid Texas. Midland is not mid Texas. Dallas is. Amarillo is North Texas.
So definitely check them out on all the social media, and I appreciate.
And more than anything, I want to let you know. More than anything, I'm honored to just. I can't believe out of the description in the beginning that you put was positive influence, man. Because I don't feel like I feel like I'm a pessimistic. My glass is my glass still happens to be half empty. You know what I mean?
No way, man. I'll tell you, we watch it all the time, man. It's just keep doing what you're doing. Some of the stuff you do it's just the way that you're coming across. You got some crappy stuff out there, and you just seem very positive all the time. And I know it's in this business, you can't always be positive because you just get beat down. So it's just nice to see someone on the up and up and really trying to grow his business and do a good thing, even though it may be a dead bird, it may be whatever it is. So, but I really appreciate
oh my gosh.
And make sure you guys get on his Instagram. You are going to laugh. You are going to enjoy yourself. I have a really good guest next week, and we're doing another tool giveaway next week. So make sure you guys tune in. We're starting to really tune up. It's probably going to be once a month that we're going to do the tool giveaways. So keep your eyes open. Be some good tool giveaways. And remember, guys, keep it real. Thanks, guys. See you later.